So Beauty Queen, talking about the 30 bucks. You did a 30 bucks and you were 5K short. Do you did that was that a major setback for your progression on here? I mean, I already know the answer, but like did did that like screeching halt put the brakes on because you still had to pay 300,000 diamonds back to somebody or somebody's, but now you didn't get all those rewards that you needed to pay that debt because you can't come out of pocket 30, 300K. So that like it's important if you're doing trades, especially. It's important to make sure you get the damn mark. So I actually have a kind of a personal story along these lines as well. So we were doing a 100 box PK. Um, was it 100? It doesn't matter. We'll call it 100 bucks. I did a 100 box PK, and I did the PK against Dr. Batty, a dear friend of mine. I was in her family for a long time, and she was at the gym, and she was leaving the gym, going out to the parking garage, and her service cut out, and it dropped the PK. It ended the PK. And in order to satisfy the rewards, to satisfy the requirements of the 100 box PK, you have to get 100 boxes during the PK. Well, if the PK ends midway through, it doesn't count. So the supporters that we had in there, that we had our team, they were sending. So send a dragon, send a dragon, send a dragon. Then the PK ends, and then another dragon got sent outside of the PK just because they weren't paying attention. They didn't see that the PK stopped, and they pushed a button and sent another dragon. So we only had 100 dragons lined up, or 101 dragons, or whatever it was. We had exactly as much as we needed arranged, and now we just had one of those dragons basically get erased because it fell outside of the PK. So now the PK's ended, and we have to wait for Batty to get her phone charged and get back to where she has service. And during that time, I'm immediately in scramble mode, and so are the other people on my team. Like it's a team. We're all in this together. So we're scrambling. We need to find 10K from somewhere. So we asked around, and we're in these different chat groups, these different groups with all these other top people in it, and reached out to somebody. And this is before we had the out of region rule, which actually no wouldn't have mattered because she would have been in region. But our friend Natty D from Australia saw my desperate cry for help. I need 10K right now. It's an emergency. And she came in, and well, she actually only had to send 5K because all the other people that were in the PK that were watching saw the horrified look and like, oh my God, he's not going to get it. And we gotta pitch in and try to hit this goal or whatever. And so we were able to get 5K of like largely organic support to try to cover that 10K. And then Natty came in on the back end with the other 5K, and when we got the goal. So it's all about having the team. It's all about everybody knowing what we're doing. We're all moving in sync together. Right? We all got to be aware of what's going on. It's not individuals. It's not I'm going to send 10K because I need 10K. It's I'm going to send you 6K because that's all you need, and I'll find the other 4K somewhere else.
When I did my 30, Hello Breezy was supposed to drop pretty much it all on me, and she only dropped with like 5K left, and I was like, what the fuck? And she said, oh, I was only able to drop and leave, but she literally came when there's like maybe 2 minutes left of the PK when she dropped everything, so I literally had like no time to get 5K from anybody.
Oh my God, that is a nightmare scenario. And that's so now let's talk. So that's what we're here to talk about, is choosing your team, choosing your PKs, choosing your events. So choosing your team, if I have somebody that can't go along with the plan, they can't work together with us, they can't be bothered to like stay the whole time to make sure that our team is winning, that's a person I don't want on my team. That's a person that I'm not trusting ever again. And now in your case, you probably didn't even get a chance to have another opportunity like that, because that is such a big mistake, or like such a big problem, that it erases every gain that you could ever possibly make on here. And that's another thing. So like, you got to be very careful on here, because one wrong move can take you out of the game. I'm an example of that myself. You know, I'm not hitting 100 boxes anymore. I'm not doing the big stuff I used to do because we had some
Right.
setbacks along the way. So choosing your team, making sure that you have the people that can be trusted, you can be relied on, making sure everybody's on the same page. And so back when I was doing 100 box PKs and sending, let's say I had to send 25 dragons to somebody. I had a friend, my friend Kelly. She was in Karma for a long time.
I remember her.
Kelly was one of my dearest friends, and whenever
She
I
was
had
used
to
to be like
send,
her and Willow used to be best friends, right?
mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah.
So anytime I had to send for a PK, if I let's say I had 25 dragons, I had to send to Marlins. Let's just say for an example, I would call Kelly and I would say, "Hey Kelly, you got 25 dragons?" And she's like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" I go, "Well, I have to drop 25 dragons on Marlins, but I need you there as a backup in case I
Mm-hmm.
get hit by a bus, in case my Wi-Fi goes out, in case my phone dies, in case I don't send 25 dragons, I need 25 dragons sent." And assuming that I don't die, assuming that I have the ability to still send dragons, I just can't for whatever temporary reason. I need you to cover for me. Be ready. You just sit through the PK. You're not going to have to send anything because everything's going to go smoothly, and you're not going to have to send. But if I don't send I'm expecting 25 dragons. If I don't send it, I need you there to send it because I don't want to be the guy that didn't come through. I want to make
That's what
sure that I
that's what
cover
I've been
my bases.
doing like for like Missy and stuff. Like even though I haven't been working with her since I haven't been like hitting tiers and stuff because of all the crap that I've been going through, I've told her though, like I'll come sit in your PK. And if because of the hurricane, a lot of her people live in Florida and they were like, I don't know if I'm gonna have Wi-Fi. I don't know if I'm gonna have power. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like be there the whole time. I'm not sure. I told her like I'll come sit there and if you need it, you can let me know. But like I'm not part of your trade. I'm not part of your thing. I'm not part of it. Like, but if I'm like a backup. I'm like a reserve. I'm there on reserve
Mm-hmm.
just in case.
Yep. And not everybody has the means to do that. So not everybody. So like, let's say you've kind of elevated yourself. You're doing 10 boxes. You're doing, oh, no, we'll start with a 90%. We'll talk about, doing a 90% PK and you're doing like 30K. So maybe not everybody in your circle is good for like being a backup at 30K. Like not everybody has 30K laying around. I know I don't,
Right.
generally speaking, but to have a couple of people, to have maybe two people with 15K a piece to kind of be a backup, um, just having your team and having a bunch, as many people as you can, because like for example the Kelly thing, 25 dragons. If I call Kelly and I say, "Hey Kelly, I'm dropping 25 dragons on Marlins, I need you as a backup," she's like, "I can't, I have basketball with my kids, I'm like doing stuff, I can't, I'm just unavailable." Well, now I have to scramble and find another backup plan. I need to go to the other people in my circle and say, "Okay, Kelsey from the Direwolves, do you have like
Hi, Kate.
three boxes extra that you can cover in the event? Like I'm going to be there. Everything should go smoothly, but I just want to make sure that our team has it cumulatively in case I don't." And
And that's why like
furthermore,
waiting with
if
those big box PK, like not the big box PKs, but like any big PK like that, like waiting until, like in the beginning when they're like, okay, is everybody here? Everybody here? Like you don't really want to
right,
wait until, okay, there's 2 minutes left. Are they going to show up? Are they going to show up? Like
Right.
just like the other day when I sat in for that replacement, Cody, and like the whole time we're like, is he going to show up? Is he going to show up? Like messaging
yeah,
him, like,
yeah, that's right. So I had a scenario a couple of days ago that kind of want to talk about for a second. It kind of falls in line with this a little bit. So some of my hosts did not get paid for the new tiers. So when the tiers changed for certain agencies, it didn't change for us for a month. So the first month there was like a corrective action type of a thing where we had to fix a couple issues, and once we fixed those issues, minor issues, just silly stuff, we were able to get on those tiers. And so I got the confirmation from BIGO, and your host, your agency is on the new tiers and we're good to go. But when we got paid a couple of days ago, they didn't get paid as if they were on the new tier. So the difference was, if you were like the old tiers, it was a 60K tier, but on the new tiers, that same 60K tier became 50K. So you only needed to get 50K to get the same amount of pay or whatever. But our hosts, we had a couple hosts that did like 55K. So they were over the 50K mark, but they weren't quite to the 60K mark. So because they didn't switch it over in the system, those hosts got paid for the 30K tier instead of the 50K tier, instead of the 60K tier. So that being said, like, we're working with BIGO to get that fixed, but in the meantime, I have hosts that have this month to worry about. That pay, when it gets corrected, isn't going to be corrected until next month at the very earliest. So we have two options. I can basically, these hosts can like be short their pay for a month, or in my case, because I'm going to step up and try to make it right for my host, I offered those hosts that didn't get paid properly that I would cover them. So if they were trying to send a dragon to somebody with that pay or whatever, I would cover it. I would short-term loan, send the dragon for them on their behalf to wherever it had to go, and then they would get that back from that person or whatever. So I talked with the one host, and she was like, "Yep, this is great. I'm gonna have you send 10K to this particular person at this particular time." Yep, no problem. I'm there. When I got to the PK, it was a 90% PK that maxes out at 30K max. And when I got to the PK, they were already at like 47,000. So they were already over the max. And before I saw that score, I messaged her and I said, "I'm just waiting on your command, because this is your dragon, so you are going to be the one that pushes the button by telling me to push the button." And she didn't respond back. And then I sent her another message. I saw the score and I said, "I'm holding this dragon. They're already at max." And she calls me. She said, "No, I need you to send it. They are expecting it. I need you to send it." And because I'm good at this game, I know what I'm doing. I know that it's smart to do that, but I just gave a sigh. I just was like,
Beauty Queen,
right.
You know how soul crushing this was for him to do.
I know.
Wasted money. Wasted money.
I just sighed. I just
said, Mike, you too.
All right. You're the boss. You this is your dragon. So I don't. And so I sent it, and I sent it in, family gifts or 1,000 beans at a time, 1,000, all the way up to 10K.
Hey, Kaden.
So I took my screenshot. I sent it to her. I said, "All right, I sent it." I said, "As long as you get what you have, like, as long as you get what you need," which is why I'm even doing this in the first place. This isn't to help them. I don't care about them. As long as you get what you need, I don't care what these idiots do with their money. And that was the stance that I had. They're not on my team. I don't care what they, like, I don't care. But she is on my team, and I want to make sure she's winning. So I sent it. Okay, there it is. I sent your thing. But yeah, like Kaylin said, it's soul crushing for me to take an order from somebody that doesn't know the math, that doesn't know what's going on. And actually in the comments,
maybe that person was like, "Hey, I'll send it to you at this PK at this time. I'm gonna send it to you." So that's why, and like, they're probably like, "No, send it." I told them I was gonna send it.
Well, God, even if somebody said that to me, like afterwards, if they would have messaged me and said, "Hey, I had somebody there to send it, but they saw you were at max, and that could have went to another PK," like, I would have been like, "Yeah, that's the smart move."
It's not even halfway through the month. There is so much time between now and the end of and from now until the end of time. I mean, if we get, like, we get to the end of the month and you're at, 300 and we'll just say 307,000. So you're already at the 300K tier, and my dragon isn't even going to help you get to the next tier. It doesn't make sense for me to even send it this month. Just make sure that you get it back, because it is a debt that is owed, or whatever the case is. So you want to make sure you're paying your debts. But because I'm on your team and because we're working together, this is not a one-for-one, like, just doing it today thing. This is a team. We're in this for the championship. This is like a over the course of time kind of a relationship we're trying to build here. So You don't need it this month. I got your back. I got you. I'll send it next month when you need it. I actually learned this lesson, or maybe even taught this lesson, way, 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 way back when I was sort of new in here. I was working a partnership with Southern Jewels, very, very well-known name here for various different reasons. But so she had come and saved my ass one time in a PK, and she dropped me 20K or something, and she saved my ass. So we got the rewards. We everything happened. I got what I needed, and now she says I need my 20K back later today. And I showed up to her PK. She only needed, let's say, 7,000 beans to reach that minimum mark. So I sent her 7,000 beans. I had all 20K ready to go, but I only sent her 7K. She got 17 beans or 25 beans more than she needed. And she got exactly what she needed, and I still had the 13K in the tank for her. Her PK ended, and she was so mad. She was so angry.
Smell spread on her face.
I'm gonna kick you out just because we're trying to do something here, but I wish you the best of luck. So I sent her the 7K. I still had 13K in the tank, and after the PK ended, she was so mad on screen, on camera, and she ended her live. She immediately went to my messages, and she was like, "Why didn't you send? You told me you were gonna send 20K," and I said, "I didn't send you 20K because you didn't need 20K. I'm going to have the 14K or 13K for you tomorrow. When you have the same event, I got you tomorrow. I'm going to cover the whole thing if you need it." But she was so mad. But that was a person that didn't understand the math, didn't understand how important it was to save every bean. Every bean has a purpose. Every bean has a place. Some of those beans we're going to cash out. Some of those beans we're going to use to help our team. Some of those beans are just there as a backup, just to keep it there in case we need it for a rainy day. Every bean has a purpose. And she didn't like that. She wanted her 20K right then and there. It was going to put her over. She wasn't going to get any extra. She might as well have dropped 20K. Might as well have dropped that in this multi where we're getting 0 beans rewards.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It was just a waste. It was like a 70% gone, but at 10K towards her tier. You know what I mean? What were they working on tier? Did they already hit tier, or is that put you know what I mean?
As I recall, it was early enough in the month that it wasn't the last day of the month. I'll put it like that. So it was a situation where I could have sent it and helped her towards her tier, but I would rather send it towards her tier tomorrow when she gets 70%. Exactly. Or back then we were getting 140% rebates. We were getting crazy amounts of rebates back then. So why would I drop it in effectively a solo live where you're getting no rebates, no rewards? Why would I do that? If you chose me to be on your team, you chose to work with me, you chose my brain, not my wallet. You chose me because I know what I'm doing, not because I have the money. Anybody on here can have the money, but nobody has the brains like I do. You want me on your team for that reason alone, because I'm going to make sure you win.
I 100% chose you for your wallet, by the way. I want that to be
Shut up. God damn it.
It's empty. You can have it.
I'm kidding.
His wallet.
Credit cards, it's funny because I always use
out of it. Here's the wallet.
I always use the phrase, what's mine is yours and what's yours is yours. It's that's what a good relationship partner is going to do. But yeah, okay, so choosing your team, making sure that you have the right people on your team, and with that person getting angry about me making the right choice for the betterment of the big picture, that is a person that no longer is on my team. Because if you can't, if they could have justified it, if they could have said, I needed you to do it because of this reason, even though mathematically doesn't make sense to do it, it might have actually made sense to do it. So for example, she's got to send 20K later that day for an event that she doesn't have the beans to cover it. And for her to get those beans is going to give her enough to convert to pay her debt. But even in that scenario, it's one of those things where okay, so you don't have the beans to send, but I have the beans to send. So I'm going to send the beans on your behalf. And we're not wasting beans.
Correct. Yep. That's teamwork right there. You're sending it for him, and then you write that shit down. All right. Well, he got me back, but it got that person instead that I already owed. Like that's the type of situation you have it covered that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if that
I
person
think a
owes
lot of
10K
people,
and you have 10K about the drop, and or if they owe somebody 30K and they have convert whatever they have and say it adds up to 30K, and then they owe 40K and you just drop the extra 10K in your to save diamonds, you don't have to send and then convert. You know what I mean? Then whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
right.
you're right. Just to
So
cover
so
that
that's
40K. So 30K.
that's why it's important to have good people around you. And so when we talk a lot about networking, right? Like we're always networking.
What's up,
And
bro?
networking doesn't have to be what, Jeff? Networking doesn't have to be I send you 5K and you send me 5K. Doesn't have to
Yep.
be like that. Just has
That's
to
how it
mean
starts,
that.
though. That's how it starts.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. But we're trying to build relationships. We're trying to build a trust where for me to send you 5K and for you to send me 5K, that helps two people. But for me to send you 5K and you to send her 5K, and she's going to send him 5K, and he's going to send her, this other girl, 5K, and that person's going to send me the 5K. Well, now we just had 6 people get the same 5K. Everybody got what they needed.
Correct.
We all worked together, but it didn't all go in. It's not like maybe easily tracked. It's not like you can't just look at your boards and say like, well, I sent you this much and you sent me that much. Like, we're even.
Yeah, that's what was going to happen with me and Viking Queen because I got my rewards before payday, so then I ended up having the bees. I didn't rely on the rewards to give somebody money or give somebody things back because I didn't know when I was going to get them or if. So I didn't even use that. And then I said, "Well, can
Mm-hmm.
Viking Queen drop it on you?" And she's like, "Yeah." I told her that Viking Queen has it; she could drop on you. And then she held. She said, "No boxes are coming in. Hold it for PKs." And then I got the rewards. She just messaged me today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it unless it's here shortly, which I don't know, but I'll figure that out here in a minute. But what I was going to do is have her drop. I dropped 30K on Viking Queen because she had a PK that she was maxing, so I was getting Viking Queen back for one, and then Viking Queen was going to send to Anya. Well, I send to Anya, and then Anya would at that point we're me and Anya are even, and it's done. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So
Yep. So okay, so the topic today we're talking about choosing your team, choosing your event. So we talked a little bit about the teamwork side of it and making sure everybody's on the same page. We're all in agreement. We all work together. We just because Mike and I are friends. I might have to cover for his friend because a friend of my friend is also my friend, kind of a situation. But the other thing I do want to talk about is choosing the right event. So there are all these different PKs. You get that sign up sheet from your agency leader, from your family leader, or you get it in your inbox. And it's just a laundry list of all these different events. 40% rebate, bring your own buddy, impossible this, and themes and friendlies and all these different PKs. So many of them, right?
it's maxing everywhere.
So many different.
Everybody's maxing.
So many different options, and that's the other thing. So maxing PK. So you got to remember if you're new on here, which this discussion is kind of geared towards the newer host. Well, any of our established hosts already know everything I'm talking about. This is kind of more designed for the newer hosts, and we are recording this to play this back for the other people that aren't here or that need to hear this at some point. But choosing the right event. So if you're going to choose a 90% rebate PK and you're up against all of these established hosts that are already maxing out these PKs and you're new to the game, you don't have a ton of support and you don't even have a ton of trade bait available to even send out to people. So maybe you can only get 20K 15K, 8K, or whatever it is, small amount, but you're going up against these top stars, these people that have been doing it for years that have $30,000 worth of beans in their wallet. They could send 100 dragons right now if that was what was the goal or what we were shooting for. So you're going to go up against these superstars with your weak little 8,000 beans, and you're going to lose to a person that's getting 40K beans in that PK. So now you just wasted all those beans. So for you to be there in that PK is kind of silly. I mean, there's ways you can make that PK valuable to you. So whether it's your opponent doesn't show up and you can get 90% off of the 8K that you set, you put in a new host, somebody that isn't, somebody that's going to fall on the sword for you, take the loss, tell their supporters, don't send, this is her PK. So you can make that work, but you don't want to kind of rely on it. You want to do a PK that's a little more balanced for your skill, for your level. And for our newer hosts, for them to not be taking advantage of these friendly PKs and these theme PKs where it doesn't matter if you win or not. All you have to do is hit that goal. So like the friendly PKs at the time of this recording, it's 1,000 beans reward, and you need 450 beans or 500 beans minimum score to get that 1,000 beans as a reward. So if you're only working with 8K, if you only have 10K available for you to work with, for you to use that in one of those events and work your team in that scenario, 500 beans today, 500 beans tomorrow, 500 beans the next day, 500 beans the day after that, 1,000 beans rewards, 1,000 beans rewards, 1,000 beans rewards, 1,000, and you're just racking up all those rewards. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more events that you have to do to eat up that 8K that you have, but profit-wise, return on investment-wise, it's smarter to do it like that. Does anybody have anything to add, or a comment or questions or anything as we kind of go along here?
I'm loving all of this, buddy. You just keep talking.
I brought up the BYOBs to you like yesterday or the day before. Like they've got decent rebates for just basically all you have to do is go live and line a friend, and you're getting hours and rebates. And you're both getting rebates. Like there's BYOBs right now, the winner and loser get 40%.
Yep. And so on a math side of it, in a trade side of it,
I'm not talking about doing trades for it, but just going live. You're getting hours, you're getting rewards for what you would just be essentially going live for anyways. Hey, talk to one of your friends while you're doing it.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Yep. And so that's why I want to point out the trade thing. So those are events that are great to get the reward. So I look at Peaches when I see the BYOB type of an event. Peaches is a person that you can look at her numbers and see that she gets a ton of beans for not sending out that much, right? I mean, you can look at her numbers. Now that is by design right now. Like there's a plan in place for that to change down the road. But like right now, she is building. She is taking the tools and she's learning the craft of what we're doing here. She's going to build, and she's going to be one of the top stars of the SAP someday when she gets to that point, because she's doing all of the right things. So for her to do a 45% bring your own buddy PK type of a scenario, she can just get 45% on any of the beans that she was already going to get in her solo live from all of those people that just love her for her, and they're going to gift her just because she exists and just because she has she's doing whatever the thing is that they are in love
doing
with.
whatever she's doing.
Well, I'm talking about just for like newer hosts that don't have the resources to max out at 70, 80, 90%. Like
thank you, Jeff.
They're still getting some kind of rebate that's not a 20%, 10% rebate or something. And at that point, both of you are getting rebates, like the same rebate. So
can I ask you a question about that?
Sure, go ahead.
So I didn't realize that I could just because I saw that button, the PK one, and you can like invite a random person or you can invite a friend. So I didn't realize at any time if I just take a screenshot of that I did that for 20 minutes, I'm gonna get things for that.
No.
Okay. No.
Oh.
So to get a rebate, to get any sort of rebate beans, you have to sign up for. You have to sort of commit to the time frame of doing this particular event at this particular time. Now, when I first started on here, I did a lot of random PKs. I did a lot of PKs with my friends that weren't official PKs that were on the schedule. And they were good for just getting my time in, kind of like what Kaylin was saying. Just like, I'm already going to be live, and I would rather talk to somebody that's not asking to see my feet, a friend of mine. If I'm going to get my time in, I might as well be chatting with a friend, somebody that speaks my same language and all that stuff. So you can still do those, but taking a screenshot of those just random PKs or just like unofficial PKs is pointless. There is no reward for that stuff.
Yeah,
also, you would have to do agency PKs. I just looked at your profile. You have to be in a family to be able to do family PKs. And those will be sent. Those will be sent to like your inbox, and they'll be posted in whatever family chat you're in, whatever family you're in. But like, what is it, like BIGO live team or whatever thing, like official BIGO thing, and like your messages sends you like all the PKs for the month and everything, and then you go in, you put what family you're in, you put like your BIGO ID, it'll say what dates it runs to, what time slots are available. You pick the time slot. It'll like usually send you like a reminder in your inbox like the day before, like you have a PK at 3:30 PST on blah 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 day, and you go live about 5 minutes before and you see if the person's on and you line them, and that's it. And you do all PKs are 20 minutes though. They have to be 20 minutes.
Okay, they have to be 20 minutes. Yeah, I saw the shorter ones. But the thing that I don't know if you just said this and I'm missing it. I don't get where the button or the thing is that you can get credit for the PK that I just come up with. Like, how do you, like, you have to sign up in another area that you're making your own?
These are official events, the ones that we're talking about. These are official PK events through BIGO. So these are the ones that you get rebates for. Like when you do like the random matches and stuff, those are just like randomly lining people, like just like friendly, not friend. I don't want to say friendly because that's another event. But
like no one does that, right? No one just randomly.
They do.
Oh sure, yeah, people do it all the time. If I'm sitting in a broadcast and it's just dead, there's like no activity, or like the people that I have in there aren't saying anything, I might, just to stir up activity and like get people to chat and maybe get people to gift, I might, hey, Beauty Queen's live, let me just line her for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we might not even push the button to like start the timer.
Yeah, she did
I just
it
want to hang out with my friend.
a
just
couple
like a phone
weeks
call
ago.
that everybody can watch.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, she needed like a half hour left on her time, and so she just lined me. And I looked at the clock because I was like, oh, does she maybe need a replacement? Because it might be that time of she might need a replacement. But it was late, and I was like, oh, she doesn't need a replacement. Maybe she's just like bored or something. And so we just sat. We didn't even start the timer. We just sat and talked for like 30 minutes, and she was like, okay, well, I'm done with my time, so I'm gonna go. Like.
I do want to touch on, you brought up the idea of replacements, and we're here talking today about choosing your team is the theme of this broadcast. So being somebody's replacement is also a way to support your team. So if your friend is doing a 90% rebate PK and they need a replacement, it's helping your team to just be another opponent, be somebody so that the PK can be considered official and they can get their rewards that they're going to get because they're going to win the PK. And you're going to just show up and just give them somebody to talk to for 20 minutes. They're going to get their reward. And someday down the road, it's kind of, you'll always hear me use the term like the leave a penny, take a penny dish. At the gas station, you put a penny in, you get a penny back for your change and you throw it in the dish. And someday down the road, you're going to need that penny to pay your bill. So for you to be somebody's replacement, for you to put a penny in the dish, someday you're going to need a replacement, and now it's time to take a penny out of the dish.
Yep, every time somebody randomly lines me and it's like somebody that I know, I always look at the clock and I say, oh, it's 10 after. I bet they need a replacement. And I accept if I can. And like, hey, have you done this PK today? Or do you have a PK? Like, can you sit? And I'm like, yep, I can sit. I'm just sitting here streaming anyways. I can sit. So.
All right. So there's that. We talked about choosing the right event. So making sure you're signing up for PKs that are matched for your level, that are matched for your ability. These kind of things. Like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing for you to sign up for like 90% PKs, but I wouldn't arrange for my team to support me in those events unless I knew my opponent is beatable. And those are when we get the schedules, when things work as they're supposed to, you can look at the schedule for today, for tomorrow, and the next day. So you can kind of like look ahead and see what you're going to be up against in the coming days. So today I'm up against Mike NJ, who has huge numbers, and maybe I don't think I'm going to be able to beat him. But the next day after that, I'm up against Peaches, who maybe doesn't have, a big number that I'm like worried about. That might be the PK that I'm going to call the team for. That's the PK. But at the same time, I may bring my team to that PK and just say, here, look, we're all on the same page. We're only going to send if we're going to win. If we're going to win, you send it. If you're not going to win, you just hold it. So it's the 10th, it's the 12th, it's the 13th, it's the 19th. We have more days left in the month to get our quota. We don't need to do it today. We don't need to waste our beans losing. We want to just wait until we know we're going to win.
How do you feel about when like people have a 90% or an 80% and the person doesn't show up and they're like, oh, I need a replacement. They need someone to sit.
Is that the end of the question?
And the other person is obviously going to probably lose because that other person they want to max out. The other person was a no-show. They need someone to sit. But that other person is also going to benefit from exposure in that situation, probably.
Sure. Yep. So there was a scenario. So way back in the day, I got invited to this VIB event, is what it was called. Very important broadcasters, invitation only event, and it was only the top stars on here. And the winner got, I think the winner, the event was like a 50 box PK. So they had taken away the box PKs, and so the reward for winning the tournament was you would get one of these highly coveted 50 box PKs. That was your prize. And for me, being a math guy, being a smart person, I said, no, that's not an event I want to win. That's an event I'm going to participate in, but I'm not going to call the team because it's going to take me 3 dragons to beat the first guy. And now I'm up against tougher people, and it's going to cost me 5 dragons to win the second one. And it's going to cost me 9 dragons to win the third one. And then when I get to the championship round, we're both got this far. We want that 50 box PK. So now we're going to go 20 boxes deep to try to win. He's going to throw 16. I'm going to throw 18. They're going to throw 19. I'm going to throw 20, and somebody's going to lose and be out all that money. So that was an event I did not want to participate in, to win it kind of a situation. So I signed up for the first day just to do the PK, and I told my opponent ahead of time, I said, I'm not doing the PK. Matter of fact, you should take a screenshot as early as you can in that PK. Just take a screenshot in the first couple of minutes. Send whatever you're going to send. Just take a screenshot. That would be my best advice to you. He was like, what? And I'm like, you'll see. So I get to the PK, and within the first minute, it was, can't even think of it. Silverback was my opponent. Silverback was a good friend on here.
Oh my God, I remember this.
So I show up to the PK, and within a minute or whatever, I'm going on this whole big rant about how this is such a stupid event, and anybody that's trying to participate in this event is a moron, and all this stuff. And I said, you know what? Fuck your PKs. And I clicked the X button. No. I swiped out of the app and went Zebras, and I closed BIGO, and I went and like jerked off or fucking ate a pizza or did literally anything else besides finish that PK. Fuck that PK. So he got a screenshot. I saw him reach in and take the screenshot, and so that was my cue to my exit strategy. So what ended up happening is so it was a win-lose reward situation. So because he won, he got some meek little 2,000 beans reward or whatever, and he got to advance to the next round. Well, because enough people didn't participate in the event, I got invited back in for the second round. I got invited back, even though I left the PK early and got like a score of nothing. Matter of fact, that was a PK side story on that same PK. So I'm in this PK telling everybody, don't gift me. If you send me anything, like I'm kicking you out of the live. And Taylor comes in. Taylor comes in and just starts dropping, like 99 bells, 99 bells, 99. She just starts gifting me like crazy.
Taylor things.
Yeah, just being Taylor. And I said, I'm a man of my word. I love you, Taylor, but I'm sorry. And I kicked her out of the live. I kicked her out.
He did.
So she changed her name on BIGO.
Yeah.
That was the first time she'd ever been kicked out of any live on BIGO. Ever. And she changed her name on BIGO to Cody Kicked Me for like a day or something. So
Alexa,
so anyway, we're gonna get
shut up.
So we get to we get to the second round, and I get the sign up sheet because now we're getting to the point where okay, like you're in the next round, but what time do you want to go? So I didn't sign up for the PK somehow, and I don't know how this happened. Somehow one of my hosts, a brand new host, 10 days on the app, 20 days on the app, something like that. Somehow he was able to sign up. So he got my spot because I didn't sign up. And so they sent me the schedule. This is back when BIGO would send the agency the schedule, and you just had to like forward it over to the host or whatever. So I see him on the thing, and I'm like, how the hell? He's been here 10 days. How is he in this championship event, this tournament for only the top stars? And so I told him, I was like, all right, so you're going to lose this PK. You're up against Daddy Z, who at the time was a million tier host. I think it was like the top tier at the time, 600K, something like that. So you're going to lose. I'm just going to tell you right now, like, don't even waste your energy. You're going to lose this PK. And you should, because it's a stupid PK to win anyway. But your job in this 20-minute PK is to steal every last one of his supporters. I want you to go over there and be charming and funny and entertaining, and I want you to be. I know it was Matt.
Oh yeah, all right. It was a new guy. Yeah, all right, Matt. Okay.
Yep. So I told him, I said, I want you to go in there and just be charming, and I just want you to just win the hearts of all of his supporters because you're brand new. Nobody knows who you are. This is your chance to be seen. So he goes, VIB event. Am I supposed to wear a suit or something? I was like, yes. You are supposed to wear a suit.
He did too. He did
so
too.
He puts on a suit. He's got a suit and a tie. He got the whole suit on there. And he goes in there and charms it up and like just makes the best of that moment or whatever. But I remember why I went down that wormhole telling that story. The exposure. That was Kaylin had talked about the exposure, and that was exactly what his goal was, not to get beans, and anything he did get, from the other side, or it was big picture snowball type stuff. We talk about building a snowball. I don't think.
Well, and generally, when you do sit in for stuff like that, the other person will be like, "Hey, gift my opponent. Like they're a good sport for sitting in, or something. At least something like that. Like." You'll get something generally, and you will get the exposure because you'll have usually a ton of bigger broadcasters coming in to drop on that person, and they'll be like, oh, who's this person sitting in with them? Like, what family are they in? Where'd they come from? Like,
I lost my last PK, and he literally came into my live after and sent me like a treasure box and like a whole bunch of gifts, and I was like, oh my god, that's so nice of you.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like King Voltaire or King something. I don't know. He won.
So one of my hosts, 3 days ago. So we have this agency incentive plan. I call it the Elite Plan, that kind of acts as like a profit sharing type of a program. So like if you're hitting tiers, like I'm basically giving back the agency share to the host if they're like hitting tiers and stuff like that. And so this host had some beans that was owed to him for hitting a high tier last month. And so I saw that he had a 90% rebate PK, and because he's on my team, whether by choice or not, he's in my agency, so he's on my team. So I want to make sure that my teammates win. So I go into his PK, and I get there, and the opponent's already got 44,000 beans on the board. They've maxed that PK out, and he's got, I don't know, maybe 1,000 beans or 2,000 beans or something. And then as soon as I get in there, the first words out of his mouth is, Cody, no, Cody. We're going to give her this one. This one's hers. So that was him being a good teammate, saving the beans. He knew what I was there for. And so he stopped me from unnecessarily spending. And I looked at his supporters. I looked at the people that had sent him the 2K, 3K, whatever he had on the board. I looked at those bubbles, and they were the bubbles from the other side of the PK. Those were the people from the other side. And as I listened to the PK for a little bit, he was telling the story about how he went and found her ahead of time, went to her live, went to her panel or whatever, and just asked, like, hey, what's your plan? What are you doing? What are we doing here? She goes, yeah, I'm maxing it out. And he goes, all right, it's yours. So he kind of coordinated it ahead of time. And because he did that, and because he was like graciously going to take the loss or whatever, that their team, the other side, they came and like threw him a bone for taking the L. And
That's nice.
like that's building that snowball, because now he's going to have new network people. He's got people that now he vibes with and that they've gifted him, and now he's probably going to go and hang out in their lives and make new friends, and he's going to pack a little bit more snow on that snowball, and now he's got some extra beans that he can use to like build up and network in that kind of way as well. So big picture stuff. That's what we're here to do. Big picture.
Sharing is caring.
That's not what my ex-wife thought.
So we got about another minute left of the actual discussion topic, and I'll stay live for a little bit after that. But is there any other questions or any comments or any kind of things maybe we could touch on related to choosing your team and choosing your events from anybody?
Yes. What's the best PK to sign up for near the end of the month? Is there going to be 80, 90s still coming, or are they already?
Honestly, I haven't looked that far in advance, and you're doing the right thing by thinking about what's coming up. I do know there's 90%. I want to say those 90% go till the end of the month. I think this current batch, because one of our hosts messaged me yesterday and asked for the sign up link for the 90%, and I sent her the 90%, the 80%, and the 70%, and I said, here's all of them. These are the ones that you should be at your level. You should be kind of going after these ones. And as I recall, they did go until like the 29th or 30th of October. At least one of those.
Isn't there that family one that's a 70%, but it's only like the last like week of the month or something?
Oh, I can't get that, bro.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not, maybe not a win, like last like 10 days or something. Like it's not even going on right now.
The other thing, there is 3 or 4 events that are happening right now that are not PKs at all. They're basically just sign up for them. I don't even think they require a time. I think they just require you to like sign up for them, so you're on like the database, and all you have to do is get gifted a certain amount of beans during that day, and they're given like bean rewards out for that. So for those that don't like doing PKs but still want to get rewards, they count if you're in a multi, they count if you're in a solo.
I was unclear about that. I thought that I read somewhere that it was only for like the first like 1,000 people or something.
That's right. Yep, that's right. So it is
there is a cap on it.
It's per day. Actually, I'd have to look at it, but it is a first come first serve type of a situation, and it is a daily type of a thing. So you can do it multiple days from what I remember reading of it. But as with any PK, whether it's a family, an agency PK, anything that you sign up for on here, if you read the instructions, it's going to tell you what you need to do. And if you have questions, or if a lot of things are in BIGO English that needs to be translated into regular English, if you need
Cody
a
speaks
translator,
BIGO-ese.
that is what I do. That is literally what my job is. So ask me questions. Ask me too many questions. Ask me all the questions. That is what I do. That is what I love. So
I seen that one thing posted in the agency where you said something about if you have any questions on PKs, feel free to ask. And it was like other stuff that it was a big paragraph, but that was like near the mid end of it. And like the other stuff, I forget what it was, but yeah, that was the main thing. Was the PK part that I remembered. So.
yep. So all my hosts have. And I maybe there's too many chats. I've gotten feedback about that before, but I try to keep it organized. I try to keep things relevant to this topic over here and things relevant to there. But there are all of my hosts have a team chat, which has my leadership team and my host in it, and only them. So some private message type of things that if I can't get to it immediately, somebody on my team can get in there and answer a question. We also have the host only chat, which is for all of our hosts only. And if you post a question in there, generally there's other hosts that are not new that have been around here. They know how this works and they can chime in. And I encourage you veteran hosts to step up and answer questions if you see something pop in there and I don't get to it immediately. And then we also have the public chat. So my agency chat is open to the public. Anybody who wants to be a part of it, like, can join it, and there is a public chat in there as well. So the people that are not my hosts, or not in the family that we, any of the families that we kind of run together, you can join that. Public chat is in there as well. You're not going to see the host only chat. You're not going to see like some of the R squared exclusive type chats, but there is a public part in there. So if you want to post to the public chat, that's a great place to look for people for replacements. That's a great place to, maybe if you need 5K or something and you want it to come from outside of agency, like, that's a great resource. So I encourage everybody to use our chat. And for those that are not in our group already, if you go to r-squaredtalent.com/chat, it will take you to the Discord link. You have to already have Discord. It's going to like pull you into our server and you just, yep, I want to join, and in you go, and just follow the instructions. I am very wordy, as you probably can tell from just listening to me. So there is a ton of information in there. I'm never going to leave out an important detail. And because of that, there's going to be a lot of words. So bring your reading glasses.
I got another question. This is
Sure.
like way more advanced. I was trying. Now, I'm not recruiting. I'm recruiting a recruiter. Is that not good on BIGO?
No, that's,
I need a recruiter.
Absolutely. I mean, if you guys,
I'm recruiting a recruiter. I'm not recruiting a host. I mean,
yep. So you and I would have to talk about
I've
that kind of off.
In there, yeah.
Yep. So you just talk to me kind of privately, because so I have a rather generous referral program. Like, probably I want to say matches any other plan on here. Like, the math is kind of confusing from a distance, but like in the big picture, I'm confident in saying that my referral plan is as good as any referral plan out there. It just might be over the long term. So where some people are paying a one-time lump sum up front, or they're paying, a percentage over time or whatever, like, we kind of have a hybrid of that, and you get an upfront piece and an overtime piece. But keep in mind that we also have all these other plans in place for the existing hosts. So there's only so much funds to go around that some of it has to go to our hosts. So and a lot of, with the referral stuff, it basically eats up all of the profits. So you and I'll have to like talk and work on a plan that, for what you're talking about, is kind of a unique situation. I'm gonna have to figure out the numbers on that to make it make sense for you and to make sense to the recruiter also.
I mean, I was just I just seen that there, and then I was just like, you know what? Like, if I can find somebody who I feel that can succeed in that situation,
Yep.
I feel it would be a great thing. Whether it's just end up people just bringing them to me to put them in, or whatever, but they get credit for it, not me. You know what I mean? It's just whatever.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to do.
So
Just a little
in
like
a
that.
scenario, so there's some unique scenarios that I've like stress tested just to see how it works or whatever. But if we make 100%, if the agency makes 100% of the agency commission, and let's say a percentage of that goes to the host for hitting the 4 million tier, they're going to get a massive percentage of the pie. But then because they were recruited by somebody, the recruiter is also getting a massive piece of the pie. And so in that particular scenario, the like a 4 million tier host would actually cost me money because I'm paying so much to the recruiter and I'm also paying so much to the host. I actually have to come out of pocket on in that there's two very unique scenarios that could actually cost me money. But at the end of the day, if we can get high hitting tier hosts on here that even if I don't make a single dime, it costs me money to have a 4 million tier host. I would rather have a 4 million tier host in my camp than to make the money. And I've showed that time and time again with these different referral plans and the different plans, the giveaways and all the little incentives that I give away. Like pretty much everything I make, almost everything I make from this goes right back to everybody else. So,
and that's facts. For real. Cody works his ass off on the app, so
I don't need. I'm working. I have a day job I work at, and I'm satisfied and I'm comfortable. I eat, and I want to make this app and this community is for my own fulfillment. So I'm here to exist in this community, to be a respected member of the community, to have the friendships and the relationships that I built on here is far more important to me than any money. So you guys keep the money. Just make sure that we still have a place here. That's the most critical part. Make sure R Squared and Cody80 and the team still exists. That's what we're here for.
and that's a good selling point when you are recruiting because you can say, I know I can say that out of all of the agencies on here that I have heard about, like by far R Squared is the most respectable one that I have heard about. I'm not downplaying on any of the other agencies that are, doing their people right, but for sure R Squared and the time and effort and shit and the respect from Cody is by far amazing. So that is I know when the people that I do run across that are inquiring about being a host or whatever, that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I check and see if they're really serious about it, and then I brag about how our agency is the shit. Okay.
Well, and I know in the past, like we've lost a few good like friends of our hosts kind of thing because of the agency percentage kind of scares a lot of people off. Like, okay, I got a friend or like my husband's trying to come on here or whatever it is, but I don't want to bring them here because like the agency percentage, and I don't want to like overgift them and then like they don't get paid or neither of us get paid kind of thing. But when you join a team like this and we have all these different pieces in place and all of this bigger network of other agency partner friends that are also in our chats, and we built this giant community of people, we have ways to correct agency percentage things. We have ways to correct out of region. We have ways to fix all of these things. So anytime I hear somebody like turn down beans or they say, don't gift me, you're out of region, or don't gift me, you're in my agency, I say, well, I can tell that's somebody that's not on my team because my team is taught take